Yeah, well, I sort of work for Jockey Club Racecourse, which is part of the Jockey Club, which has been around since 1750, so we've got a great deal of history around the organisation. We have 15 racecourses within the group. I'm lucky enough to run the northwest region, of which we have Aintree Racecourse, Haydock Park Racecourse and Carlisle Racecourse. And the group really is about for the good of the sport of racing. All the money that we make goes back into the sport, be that prize money for winning owners and trainers and connections, or whether that's in the facilities. And obviously we stood here at Aintree where we had a £37 million development in 2007, completed in 2007. So it's a great organisation to work for, and it's great to know that everything that we do and that the team does here does go back into the sport. I was very lucky, really. I was a racing fan from being a young lad. I actually went to university, did an English degree with the aim of trying to get into sports journalism. Did a few shifts on the Racing Post, but then was just lucky enough I was going to join the police force, and then a job just came up at Weatherby's. I'd applied for loads of jobs within racing. Just right place, right time, very lucky. I think what I learned from that, and the only piece of advice that really I could offer other people, is don't give up. Just keep going if it's something that you want to do. Don't give up on following your dream, really. I've been lucky enough to achieve mine, and I think that's the one thing I take out of it. Just don't give up and keep trying. So you can get plenty of advice from lots of people. I think if at first you don't succeed, I know it's an old hackneyed one, but I remember one of my former bosses telling me that don't beat yourself up. If things don't go right, that happens. If you get something wrong one time, try again, and it'll succeed. And that means that you do things differently all the time. You look at things differently. But I think you have to follow your instinct. And if you think you're doing the right thing, even if it may not be succeeding at first, keep going and keep following your instinct. I think you've got to have a vision. That's the first thing. You've got to know where you want to go, whether it's with the Grand National, whether it's in Haydock Park, whether it's Aintree, whether it's the Northwest region, whether it's the Jockey Club. I think you've got to have a clear vision of where you want your business to go, where you want your venue to go. So that's hugely important. And I think most important thing for me is never lose sight of the fact that it's all about the team. You can't achieve what you want to achieve without having a great team around you. We're very lucky to have that, and we've built that in the Northwest. And again, throughout my career, I've found that if you've got a good team around you, then you're more likely to succeed than not. And I think as a leader, it's quite sometimes fairly easy just to forget that and not place enough emphasis on that. And that's something I try and work very hard on. Create a great team, a great atmosphere, a team where everyone knows where they're going, everyone knows what we're trying to do and trying to achieve, and have some fun too. I think that's important. I think sport is supposed to be a fun business. It's very competitive, but you are supposed to have a bit of fun as well with sport. It's a great industry to work in, so have some fun. I think the great thing about having an event and working on an event like the Grand National is a privilege and an honour, and you sense the history, and that history is always with you. That responsibility of being a guardian of the sport almost is something that we take very seriously and that we're very proud of. So knowing that you're on the world stage, you just have to make sure that everything is done to the best of your ability. I think you've just got to concentrate on the things that you can influence, really. With the Grand National, it's about putting on a great event for the people that come, and it's about making it a great spectacle for the people, as you say, who are watching all over the world. And again, we're very lucky with the National that it's unique. We've got unique fences, we've got unique distance, we've got a unique number of runners in it, so we're incredibly lucky. It's just a case of safeguarding that, looking after that, and making sure that it maintains the spectacle it always has been. I'll be really honest here. I don't think that racing has evolved its sponsorship enough. and I think it's a rapidly changing world, as we know. There's a lot more technology. I think sponsors want an awful lot more from the sponsorship. I think the days of just badging a race name and just having a few hoardings around the track are gone, really. Yes, that's part of sponsorship. But we need to give sponsors more, we need to interact with them more, we need to see them as partners rather than sponsors. And there's definite signs that the industry is starting to recognise that, and we're starting to realise that we do need to woo partners rather than sponsors. So I think that's an important thing. I think that will change very quickly over the next 5 years, and we try not to use the word sponsor, but do use that word partner, because that's the most important, is that you work with these people, because it's for the betterment of both of you. It's not just about boards, it's about delivering value. My greatest role model was actually my granddad. He wasn't in the business of sport, although he was a Cumberland wrestler, so I suppose he was a sportsman. I suppose recently I'd say, and again I'm probably going from personal preference here, I'm a Man City fan, so I think what Sheikh Mansour is doing at City, not just, and I know he's thrown a load of money at it, we've got all the best players, all that sort of thing, but what he's doing with the community around there is fantastic, I think. He's doing much more to the football club than I ever imagined he would do. It's not just about what's going on the pitch, it's what's going on in the community all around, and that's something that I think is very inspiring, is something that we're trying to achieve here at Aintree. We're launching our community programme next month. I think someone like Sheikh Mansour we're learning from, and we want to give back to the community just like he has. Because any venue that you've got, any stadium, plays a huge part in that community, and you need to give back to it. We have the Beach Chase coming up on the 6th of December. As I say, that's the launch of our community programme. We have a couple of trials for the Grand National coming up, and we've got 42,000 people coming that day, because we've made it a free day for everybody. So we've got 42,000 people coming. So the team are very much focused on delivering that, because that's almost like a Grand National day. So we'll get that one out of the way. It's good practice, gets our eye in for the big 3 days in April. And that's our main focus at the moment. Once that's done, and once we turn into the new year, then it's all systems go for the National. The build starts, because there's a lot of temporary facilities we have to put up for the National, and the build starts in the new year, and yeah, it's all hands on deck for April. I think racing faces some big challenges. I think we need to engage the younger generation. I don't think we've done that particularly well, but we also need to look after our loyal race goers, and again I think that's something that we can easily forget and easily neglect. And so I think racing's at a bit of a crossroads. It needs to decide where it wants to go, what it wants to do to make sure that it's looking after its existing customers, but also bringing in new younger customers. And I think we've got a lot of work to do. I think we need to embrace technology. I think technology is something that, again, as a sport, we haven't particularly embraced or used effectively yet. So I think there's a real challenge for us around that. And there's a real challenge for us in getting people to engage with the sport and love the sport. I was lucky enough to be influenced by my granddad, but I see less and less of that happening. My own children coming through in this technological age, and they're not touching the sport, even though I work in the sport. So I think there's some real big challenges ahead for racing. We need to clue into that, and as I say, we need to engage the young generation and get them to be fans of the sport.